Alright, so we started talking about how to choose good BNBBs. The things that are listed on here, a lot of times people think that those are the exceptions when in reality they're really the rule. And what we're looking at is we don't want things in our dietary supplements. For when I choose dietary supplements, what I'm looking for is something that is cleaner than certified organic food. Certified organic food means it's talking about how clean food was at the time of harvest. The Department of Agriculture says that you can't have herbicides, pesticides, things like this. That's up until the time it's harvested. After that, there's not as much rule and regulation, very little if anything. Nobody knows what happens to food in the distribution process. The farmer no longer sees it, and it's exposed to a lot of things. So ultimately the raw materials for dietary supplements end up being contaminated. We're also looking at, we want to avoid growth regulators, which are hormones that are placed on the plants, the raw materials. Hormones. The final product shouldn't have artificial coloring or flavoring. It's not uncommon for dietary supplements nowadays to have what would be prescription drugs, anti-anxiety, antidepressant type things, steroids, hormones, all these things. Generally, labels aren't really honest. There's nobody that controls them, and most of the time when supplements are tested, they don't show up. It doesn't have what the label is in there. False claims are common, and a lot of times companies will put fillers and binders in there to make your tablet look bigger than it is, and it really needs to be. As well as heavy metals. A lot of times manufacturers are using outdated manufacturing equipment, and the tubs that they tumble the supplements in are welded with lead or any of these contaminant type things. You just don't want that in there. You want your supplements to be cleaner than food. As well as excessive potency and many other things. You can go to good resources, consumerlabs.com. It's a non-profit website where they test supplements on the market, and they have a free part to their website as well as a part you can subscribe to, but manufacturers don't pay them to do it. They do it randomly, and as a result you get a real good, clear idea of the kind of stuff that's going on in the marketplace nowadays. It sounds a little ridiculous, but these are the kinds of things you're going to see in supplements, whether they're in the drugstore, the pharmacy, at your doctor's office, your naturopath's office. It's very, very common for them to be contaminated and have stuff in there that you just don't want to have in your body. It's not going to help your health, and it will inhibit your performance. A lot of times people don't get the results they want for some of those reasons. So there's 6 or 7 things that we look for. I'm on page 8 now, and ultimately what we want to know is, is the supplement really required by the cells of the body? If it doesn't feed the cells of the body, then you're really not going to get the cumulative benefits of nutrition within the body. It should also have clinical proof that shows that the supplement was tested on humans, that it actually did what it was supposed to do. Most companies don't do this. There's maybe 1 in 1,000 companies that do any testing at all. There's 1 in 1,000. There's 1,000 companies that start up and go out of business every year. The FDA just can't keep up with it. When a manufacturer starts to make a supplement, they have raw materials that they use. The provider of those raw materials should provide a report that says what contaminants were in there or not. Then the manufacturer should test the raw materials again to see if that report was accurate, and the final product should be tested to see if it had any contaminants in it. The final product, when it's finally manufactured, should be tested to show whether or not the product shows up in the bloodstream. If it's not showing up within the bloodstream, then you're really not getting your money's worth. And finally, the product, in my opinion, this is what I look for, is it should be 100% money back guarantee. Use it up, and if you don't like it, you get your money back. If that's not there, that tells you a little bit about where the company's coming from. They have a short-term view of making a quick buck, and they're really not concerned about long-term their customers liking them or not. If you want more details on how to choose so that you know what I know about supplements, because there's too much to go into for this particular talk, what you're going to do is request SOV Special Report number 21 and 22, and then you'll have a good idea of where I'm coming from and what I know, so you know what my suggestions are based on. I'll see you in the next segment.